In the last video, I talked about getting your motorcycle license. This video is going to cover the most important thing you should do after getting that license, and this is getting proper gear. Hey everyone, Matt here, and welcome back to TS Moto Adventures. Riding with proper safety gear is extremely critical and could mean the difference between life or death. This list is going to include everything that you should buy as a beginner rider, but if you can't buy everything all at once because it can be expensive, this is the order that I think you should buy this gear in. Other people may have opinions on which order you should be buying these items in, but this is what I think is the best order for a beginner rider. First up, we have a helmet. This is obviously the most important piece of safety gear you need to own as a rider. It's also required by law in most states. One of the most important organs in your body is your brain. The brain is stored in your head. A helmet goes over your head and protects your head. Think about that for a minute. Helmet, head, brain, important. Helmet is literally the most important piece of gear that you should buy, and you should not be riding a motorcycle without one. There's one very important thing you need to consider before you buy your helmet though, and that's how big your noggin is. Any retailer that's gonna sell you a helmet is gonna be able to properly measure your head and figure out what size helmet you should be wearing. When I got my first helmet, I bought it on Amazon. I thought I knew my head size. I was wrong. That helmet was not the correct size. In fact, it was too big. Having a helmet that's too big is a very big safety problem because it can shift around, not protect your head properly, and cause all kinds of other issues. Getting your head properly sized is super duper important. And as soon as I did that, I started getting helmets that fit me really well. Currently, I have two helmets, a Shoei Neotech 2 for street riding, and then this guy for off-road riding. This is a dual sport helmet, so I'm able to rock goggles on it. I've still got a visor here that is a pain in the ass to put down and is covered in dirt and bugs, but this provides impact protection for my eyes. Super duper important. This provides impact protection for my noggin. Super duper important. Look at that, head bonk protection. You can get that sticker over at tsmotoadv.com/merch. There's a really funny story behind it. Maybe one day I'll tell you if you buy one. But seriously, a helmet is the most important thing that you can have when it comes to safety on a motorcycle, so please buy one. One last thing before we move on from helmets, consider the style of riding you're gonna be doing. I have two helmets, as I said, one for street riding, one for off-road riding. They both serve a very specific purpose for me. So just things to consider. The next thing on the list that I think you're gonna wanna consider is gloves. There's lots of different styles, lots of different options. As you see here, I have two leather gloves. I've got one that cuts off right at my wrist, and then I've got one that's more of a gauntlet style that offers a lot more protection. This thing, super duper nice. Only downside is you have less dexterity, it's a bit more restrictive, but it offers an immense amount of protection. This thing offers me a lot more dexterity, but it's at a detriment. It doesn't protect up my wrists nearly as much as this does. The other thing to consider with gloves, and this is the same as with helmets, is the style of riding you're doing. Because, well, there's lots of different options. These guys I use for adventure riding. They offer a lot more protection for when I, hit trees and branches and rocks and things like that. Got a nice leather base for any kind of sliding that may happen on the roads. Textile with a lot of rubber protection on top, offers really good airflow. Super duper nice for adventure and dual sport style riding stuff. This, on the other hand, fully textile. Doesn't really offer any kind of impact protection, any kind of slide protection, because this is meant for motocross stuff and solely like dirt riding stuff. So this is great because it offers a lot of airflow. You heat up a lot when you're riding off-road like that, but it's not good if you want to ride down the street. So definitely keep your style of riding in mind. But enough about gloves, let's talk about jackets. As you can see, I have a nice leather jacket on. This is actually a custom made one that I got to go with my CB500F. It's got my logo on the back, which I think is cool, but either way, as you can see, it's a very nice leather jacket. This offers a lot of protection, especially in a slide. But big downside to this is it's not something I want to take off-road. I only wear this on the street. For off-road, I have an adventure riding jacket. But as is with gloves, there's a lot of considerations that come in with jackets. You've got weather, you've got style of riding, you've got how much armor and protection you want. Personally, I don't ride without shoulder pads, elbow pads, and some kind of back protector. You can never have too much armor. I've landed on my shoulder twice off-road, and without the armor that was there, it would have been a lot worse than what it is. Right now, I don't feel anything. I don't have any problems. If I landed on this thing without armor, would have been a different story. There's also a lot of different weight options when it comes to jackets. You can get beefier things that are great for more colder winter style riding, or you can get light mesh jackets that are a lot better for summer riding. Again, just really consider the style of riding you want to do and the weather conditions that you're going to ride in. Next up, let's talk about boots. There's lots of different styles of boots out there. You've got anything from these more shoe style ones, these ones that go up a little higher on the ankles here. And then also, we've got my adventure boot, my CD Adventure 2. This thing, super beefy, lots of protection. It goes all the way up my ankle, up my calf, and honestly, I'll never ride off-road without something like this. Again, you want to consider the style of riding you're going to do when you're picking out boots, but honestly, having something like that CD Adventure 2, something that goes up nice and high on your ankles, is worth it. It offers an immense amount of protection, especially if you drop the bike. Having that kind of armor on your ankle could determine whether or not it's broken. And trust me, you don't want a broken ankle. Not fun. One last thing about boots before we move on though. Don't wear work boots or snow boots or any kind of normal boots that aren't meant for motorcycling. They don't offer nearly the level of protection you need as a rider. Please, please, please buy proper riding boots. The last thing I have for you is pants. There's a lot of different options for pants out there. You've got textiles, you've got leathers, you've got pants with armor, you've got pants without armor. You should always get pants with armor or some kind of armored base layer to go under them. I prefer the base layer because most of the pants that I find, the armor doesn't quite line up correctly because of my height, and it's just having that armored base layer, totally worth it. So consider armored base layers too. But the biggest thing you need to realize here is regular jeans, regular pants, are not fit for riding on a motorcycle without some kind of added protection. When you slide in those things, they get torn to shreds right away, and the next thing that's gonna get hit is your skin. Road rash sucks. If you have proper riding gear, there's a rating for how long you can slide for. Leathers you can slide for a lot longer than you can in most textiles, but if you get Kevlar reinforced or Kevlar lined jeans, then you get a lot more slide protection with that. I happen to have a pair of Kevlar lined jeans that go all the way down past my knees, which is awesome because that's the area that's most likely going to hit the ground and slide. As I said, there's tons of options out there, so just go out and look and find something that you think is going to fit your style of riding. But that is the list of safety gear that you need to get as a beginner rider. So remember, helmet, gloves, jacket, boots, pants. In that order. The most important thing of all though, if you can only get one thing on this list, protect your noggin. It's worth it. You need this the most. If you like this video and you want to see more, be sure to check these two right here. As always, ride safe and remember, it's all about the adventure.